there was anything special about me and didn't understand why. And I did ask God to put things in front of me, and hopefully I would see them along the way and do something good for someone else, and it would make it worthwhile for me to still be alive. But of course I wanted to go home to my kids. I asked my sister to get me a notebook, and I started writing while I was in the hospital, everything I remembered right after I was coming out of the coma. There were two things that I wanted to do with this extra part of my life, and that was to finish raising my children and to finally write my book. I had also been doing family research since my daughter was 2. I'd done a lot of historical research on my family, and I sort of wanted to put all of this together. It wasn't until my daughter was 15, she was turning 11 when I was in the hospital. When she was 15, I finally knew what I wanted to write. And I started writing, and I said to my daughter, I don't know if I should do this. I don't know if I can finish. I don't know if I'm going to be any good. I don't know, if it's worth all this time, because I was a stay-at-home mom to be there with my kids. And I would start writing, and I would get nothing else done. All day I'd be writing. And then I'd be like, I gotta go begin. And then be running around, driving them wherever they needed to go. You gotta go there.
She's the author.
So, I said to her, I feel bad. I don't know if I should do this. And she said, well, then, Mom, do it for me. Wow, okay. So, I did. But I knew I wasn't going to pursue publishing it until my son graduated high school, because he was still my priority. So I wrote and I wrote and I wrote. It got a little long, the first book, 430 pages. But what I did was I had experiences as a child that I needed to resolve and go through. And so I used some of those experiences to write this book. Julie is a lot like me. But although I can't go back and change my childhood, I could kind of change it in the book. I could make things happen differently. And that was very cathartic for me. So that is where the tin box started, but I didn't want to let go of the characters. I really, really enjoyed them. I tell you, they're my friend. And at night I dream about them, I think about them all the time. And I wanted to see, though, because the first book was so much involved with my own memories, I wanted to challenge myself and see if I could write something different. The Tin Box Secret is first person. The Hope Chest is third person. It's about a place I did not grow up in, and about a time I did not grow up in, and I had to really challenge myself to see if I was really a writer, could I do this? I want to tell you, the Hope Chest is better than the Tin Box Secret. I like the Tin Box Secret, but the Hope Chest is really, really interesting. Yes? What?
What is the third book?
The third book is called Reawakening. Again, I used my experiences from the coma in this. This is the necklace in the tin box, in the Hope Chest. Can this reach? This is going to be the cover of Reawakening, and she's wearing the necklace in 1969 that was given to her in the 1860s. How about that? And this is actually my daughter in the picture. She has done both covers. That's also this picture here. This is a daguerreotype. Years ago, before I wrote the Hope Chest, Lauren and I were in Gettysburg. We've been to Gettysburg a few times. So I'm a big Civil War buff, in case you haven't noticed. And she got that daguerreotype in an antique store. And she named him Wesley. And I said, someday I'm going to put Wesley in my book. And he is. Yes?
Did you make the necklace?
Yes. Yep.
How did you find a publisher? Like, what's that whole process?
Okay. I self-published these 3 books. I have a literary agent now who's read the first 2 books, who's very interested in representing me to traditional publishers. But once you've published self-published books, it's very hard to bring them to a traditional publisher. Okay? So she's interested in my next book, which I'm glad you asked about, because my Girl Scouts used to go every November, the Saturday after Thanksgiving, to the Edwards Homestead in Sayville. And they have a thing with holiday traditions. And there was a woman, Regina Ports, who used to be there. She also worked in one of the elementary schools, but she would be there telling her story about her life as a child during World War II in Germany. And she would start just telling them the traditions, and then one day she told them about this doll that she had. She had this porcelain doll, and her story, which is not the story that I'm writing, but it inspired it, was that this doll got her father had a little inn, and she was supposed to be at the desk, and she wasn't. She took her doll and went to her friend's house. And he came back and found her missing, and he found her at her friend's house. Now, before this, every Christmas, the doll would disappear and come back with new clothes, and new ribbons, whatever. That was always her Christmas present. But this day, she was at her friend's house. He came, he was angry, he took the doll, he threw it down, it cracked. Because it was World War II, and where she was living, it was 1945, and the armies were coming and they had to leave. Now that I've done research, I understand she was somewhere in the eastern part of Germany, and the Russian army was coming, and she had to leave with her family. And when they left, they were living out in the woods. They would go and dig through the ground in a farmer's field and take one potato so it wouldn't be missing, and that would be her family's dinner. Her brother shot a crow with a slingshot once, and that was dinner for 3 days and 3 nights for the family. And she would tell these stories to my Girl Scouts. And every year we'd come back and say, well, tell us about the crow. Tell us about this. Now that I've done the research, and she has passed away, I wish I could talk to her now. Because now I understand how horrible those memories must have been for her to go back and bring them up and talk to my Girl Scouts about. But again, this is a story. She was a German girl during World War II. That doesn't make her a Nazi, but it makes her caught up in this war. And so I am telling a story that is inspired by Regina Ports and her story in The Porcelain Doll, which is going to be the next book. And my literary agent has asked me to send her the first 25 pages and an outline of the book, and she is going to help me bring it to traditional publishers. Hopefully, if that is successful, then someone will come back and traditionally publish these books. It's not the last, the Porcelain Doll isn't the last book either. There's going to be more. So this is, my feeling was, why would anybody invest in me when I'm not a proven author? So here I've written these books. They're doing very well on Amazon. They're also available on Kindle. They're worldwide. It's in many libraries. I do book talks. I worked for a publishing company. I worked for McGraw-Hill years ago. I know about the publishing industry. I know how to market a book. And so I just get out there and I do it all myself. But now that it's there and it's doing well, and I also had the first book evaluated by Kirkus, which is a review by Kirkus, which is a renowned reviewer. And so they liked it. So if they like it and all of these people I don't know call me and tell me that they like it, I'm like, all right, good. Or they send me cards telling me how much they enjoyed it. makes me know that it's not just my relatives and friends that like it. It really is good. So it's given me the confidence. When I talk about this making her brave, this is brave for me, because I didn't know, if putting this out there, how people were going to take it. And a lot of the first book and third book really are my childhood. So some of it, all of it, some of my friends, some other people I know, but it's inspired by all of that and all of the things that kids go through. So.